Hello, and welcome to the next edition of The Comic Anthologist. And if you haven't already hit the like button,
hit that subscribe button.
Yes. And today we are going to talk about the book Blacula,
written by Rodney Barnes and drawn by Shawn Alexander.
And basically, this harkens back to the day, or back to the
70s,
the 1970s, when it first came out in 1972.
Right.
Where you had Prince Mamawad, who basically went to Transylvania to get the assistance from Dracula back in the day.
Well, I need to stop you real quick because maybe this later generation haven't seen Blacula.
Oh, that's true. That's so true.
Yeah,
that's true.
I'm just saying, so you don't want to spoil it for them.
So. No. But the thing is, they need to go watch the film.
Yeah, exactly.
Not Scream, Blacula, Scream, because that's the sequel to that film. No, you stick with Blacula. That came out in 1972.
And the thing is, too, and I just thought about it after reading the graphic novel, they left it ambiguous so it could still tie into both of them.
That's what I loved about it, because it basically had the Blacula, who is still around in the 21st century. And you see the ramifications of the people that he had
affected back in the 70s.
Right, which affected now essentially two generations.
Also, too, I want to give an extra special shout out to Rodney Barnes. I met the gentleman months ago, which prompted me to get the graphic novel, and I met him at a function at MGM Studios a while back, some months back. And as a result, and talking with him, my friends and I sitting there and talking with him, very cool brother, very cool gentleman. It was an honor, it was a pleasure meeting him. And so that's what prompted me to go out and get the book, and I was not disappointed when I read the material. I read the graphic novel from beginning to end within an hour and a half.
Did you read the foreword of the graphic novel before you read the story? Because he went into detail about when he was a child,
a kid,
and not seeing very much representation.
Well, he's not that much older than us now.
True, but he was still little at the time, like we were when it came out, and he was talking about that there was lack of representations of blacks in horror films and films in general back in the day when he went.
Right.
So that's why I appreciate, and I'm glad he got a chance to talk with him, but I appreciate the way it was written, that it's paying homage to not only the character,
but to the source material too.
Exactly.
To the material and everything. So yeah, he did his homework. When you read the graphic novel, he did his homework. And I can't stress enough, go out and get a copy and read it for yourself and everything. So everything that I read about the book, I just thoroughly enjoyed it.
Well, one of the highlights of the film, well, not even the film, let me backtrack, it's definitely not the film, because it read like a film. One of the highlights of the book was basically the families of the people he affected in the movie. And they basically were trying to track down Blacula off of just folklore and mystery, and saying these were just rumors and legends and things and whatnot.
Right.
And they were going off of that, thinking like, yeah, we'll catch him, or we're going to kill him.
Yeah, but then when they caught up with him, that was a totally different story.
Yeah, it was.
But the thing I liked about how Mr. Barnes wrote him, he wrote him in such a way that he still carried that air of not arrogance but elegance about him, of regalness.
Yes, the regalness
of him still being
of royalty,
of being Prince Mamawaldi.
And not only that, too, what I loved about the story was that he ended up feeling bad about affecting those people.
Exactly.
Because he said to himself, from reading it, is that the actions and the consequences that you enact on other people last long past you or anybody else around you.
Right.
So much so to the point where you have to be very careful about the choices that you make in terms of the people that you affect.
And also, too, I wanted to add, too, how he felt about killing his own.
That's the point I was getting at, and,
yeah.
and that's exactly the point I'm getting at.
Yeah, because we already have that problem going on in reality now.
Of course.
But I like that he thought about the consequences of his actions once he reemerged. Per se, you have to read the book to see how he reemerged.
Yeah, because
I'm not giving away anything.
no, we can't give away anything. But all I can say about this is, you read it, enjoy it, throw in the comments. I would love to hear your feedback. We would both love to hear your feedback from it.
Right.
In terms of reading this book, because I highly, highly, highly recommend it. In terms of it being not only a good read, the artwork was phenomenal, and it was painted. It was drawn and painted, and so much so that you felt the eeriness, but also you saw some of the flashbacks, the way it was drawn.
Yeah, it was like drawn like in a noir-esque type.
Right.
Like basically a noir-esque graphic novel. You're just reading each page is like you could feel the shadows and the dread and the awe,
Right.
but at the same time, you could also pull on that things are happening in the way they're happening, and the way how the events are playing out with the major characters in that book and everything.
And not only that, they highlighted the color red so much in that book.
Oh heck yeah, big time.
Yeah,
Big time.
and of course you know what red represents.
Black and red is dealing with blood, but then also in the old vampire Blacula movies, not Blacula movies, Dracula movies, especially from the Hammer the Hammer era from the UK.
Right.
They always had Dracula wearing a cape with
a kind of a hood.
a kind of a hood, or not even a hood, with
A cowl, yeah.
it's like some kind of thing around it. I forgot what it's called, but it's also on the inner workings of the cape. It's like a reddish hue. You know who else would also, we could touch on that later? That reminds me of?
Who's that?
Blade.
Oh yeah.
Because Blade has that kind of, in his jackets whenever he's carrying his weapons, but you open up the jacket, it's kind of reddish.
It's reddish,
kinda
yes,
like a
with
vampire,
all the
so.
weapons and everything, but since he represents being a vampire, even though he's a daywalker, has all the vampire strengths, but we won't go into that. That's Blade.
Yeah.
We're talking about Blacula. That's for another discussion.
Yeah, but that's what I figured. It's kind of like that's the consistency dealing with vampires and vampire lore or whatnot. So, but yeah, go out and get that graphic novel, and I highly, highly recommend it. We both highly recommend it.
Highly recommend it because you see in the story, they humanize Blacula. He's not just some
Predatory killer or anything like that.
whatnot. He just basically goes in, he does what he does, but you actually feel for this character and feel not only the dread, but you also feel the sorrow and some of the things that come along with some of the actions that he takes place.
And one other thing too that I also wanted to bring up too, that you're gonna also feel in that story too, vengeance.
Yes.
Vengeance after a certain character. So again, check it out. I highly recommend it. And if you got any questions, just shoot them in the comments.
Yep, shoot them in the comments, send me an email. I would love to hear your feedback on this particular book because this is one of those books that initially I didn't know how to take it because my brother and I, we did go see Blacula when we were younger. We actually saw it on TV, but still, we saw it in the 70s. But it still left a lasting impression on us in terms of seeing a black man as a lead in a horror film. But to take it to the next level, hey, that's why we went ahead and read it, and we both highly recommend this story for you.
Exactly.
So, but if you have any other questions, feel free to sit up there and comment. You can reach us at thecomicanthologist@gmail.com. I'm Wes Hubbard, this is Wendell Hubbard, and like I said, hit that like button and also subscribe. Until the next one,